Welcome once again to a brand new installment of the Visual Vapor Reviews. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new flavor and talking about some of the plans for this channel and finally get a chance to really hammer out the details so that you guys can kind of figure out what's going on. So as it stands, my channel has kind of come to a bit of a standstill, and that comes from not being able to get product at the moment, running into a few hiccups with some of the companies that I'm dealing with, as well as getting the product itself. So until that's figured out, I won't really be able to do any really big reviews. I'll be doing small things based on what I get for myself. So it's kind of being run off my own pocket. That kind of throws a little bit of a wrench into some things, but I'm not all that worried. I'll just review new products until I'm able to get a steady flow of newer products. So basically what it's going to be is it's going to be a bit more irregular than it was in the older days when I first started doing these videos. A lot of these videos are going to be on my old channel under Michael Cobb, which is the one this will be uploaded to originally. Also, my secondary channel, Visual Vapor Reviews, will be I might upload this video to that one, but I'm not sure just yet, but be sure to check out that channel as well. There's a lot of helpful videos for you guys to see how different products work and whether or not you may like to buy the products that I've reviewed. Recently, I've reviewed the Smock Mag Kit, as well as the Smock the Smock, darn it, can't remember the name for the life of me. I believe it's the Smock Pro Color. I'm not 100% sure. T-Priv. That's what it is. Thank you. No one even said anything. Anyway, so needless to say, I reviewed the Smock T-Priv and the Smock Mag Grip Kit. They're really good kits. If you want to check them out, go to my other channel under Visual Vapor Reviews. You should, if it's not there, it should be on this channel under Michael Cobb. However, I'm not 100% sure which one it's on, so you guys will have to check through those. Sorry, I'm not very well prepared today. I wasn't originally planning to make a video, so it was kind of last minute, spur of the moment. Normally when I make a video, I plan it out on what I'm going to do, but all I had was the basic spur of the moment idea to make this video to review this flavor. So it is kind of unplanned, so I do apologize. I'm not nearly as clear or focused on what I'm doing for this video, other than kind of just winging it. Normally I have a plan set out for what I'm going to talk about and how I want it to sound, but today, because I'm kind of unplanned or unprepared, it's a little different. So we're just going to chill out for a little bit, talk about this flavor, relax, have a sort of vape sesh, and go from there. So the flavor I'm going to be telling you about in a few minutes is very tasty. We'll get down to the details in a sec, but let's go with what I've done to this mod. So this is, as you guys know, this is my longest owned mod thus far, or one of my favorite mods. I believe it's my longest mod, but I've had it since 2017, I want to say, maybe 2018, somewhere in there. In one of those summers, I bought this, and it was a really good mod when I first got it. It has a little bit of troubles with it right now. There is a solder connection that goes to the outside of the 510 connection underneath this plate right here. This little plate comes off. That's where the screw is, and for some reason, beyond me, the actual bolt that holds the plate to the 510 thread is loose. So sometimes the actual thread can move inside of it, and that moves the place where the connection to the wire was. So at some point when I twisted this on too tight by accident, it broke the solder that's on here, and I had to drill a hole through the solder because my solder iron wasn't hot enough to melt it well enough to resolder the material. So I drilled a small hole through it and fed the wire through. It's very tricky, and it's more like a Frankenstein botched version of a solder job. So I have to be careful of not turning this too much, otherwise it'll remove the solder. I'll have to take out all 4 screws, push that little piece back in, fight with it, put it back together, yada yada yada. Pain in the rear. That's why I try not to mess around too much with it. But in other news, so I put new coils that I just got on here. These are fused Clapton coils. I've had fused Claptons before, but these are from a company called, I believe it was called Omtech. Anywho, I got these coils, and I didn't really do a very good wick job on this coil right here in the front because it's a little loose on, I want to say, well, it's my left side right here. There is a little bit of space between the cotton and the wall, and it's not packed very tightly. So what ends up happening is if I were to tilt this for too long, it will leak. But needless to say, I've got it all wicked up. It's doing fine. When I re-wick it, I'll make it nice and tight, and it will be fine for me. Subjective pros and cons, I suppose, but my own dumb fault. So, as you saw in the beginning, this thing is clouding out really well. We're running at a 0.26 ohm resistance at 70 watts. That's what I usually vape at. It's reading 4.26 volts, and I am on puff 14,908. So, no, sorry, 15,908. No, 4,000. Because it goes up in 10,000, so it goes up in 10,000 watt increments, so that's 51,908 puffs. I've reset the puff counter because after 9,999 it goes back to 0. So I've reset it 5 times, meaning I've gone through 9,000 puffs 5 times, I'm sorry, incorrect. I've gone through 10,000 puffs 5 times, and then I have 1,908 puffs so far since it's reset. Man. See, this is what happens when you don't plan for a video. It really makes for some bad math. There we go. Sorry. I didn't turn it on well, it was on a black screen and I pushed the button rather than press it once and then started vaping. My bad again. So this is the flavor we're going to be talking about today, guys. This is the Candy Treats Peach Rings. Now, I don't know if I've reviewed this officially before. I know I probably took a look at it when I reviewed the T-Priv from Smock, when I did the review for my friend Andrew's mod on that T-Priv, when he bought it through me, and I was doing sales through Visual Vapor Reviews. Now, when I did that, it was a little bit difficult at first, so it took a bit of time to get my stuff together. And I don't know if I've actually reviewed this, but needless to say, it's a really good flavor. When I first tried it, I really liked it. I was still living at Ari's place. It tasted really good, and I was told it's a top shelf vape liquid. So it's a really good flavor. It's not like all the top brands like Halo and different juice blends. My personal favorite juice is a flavor by the Clown. It is by the flavor line called the Clown, and it's called Sweet Tooth. Now, this is a really good flavor. It tastes like a really sweet candy-like flavor. It's cotton candy almost, but I don't know what the exact flavor profile is. It's just a really good flavor that I fell in love with. So it's by Ethos Vapors. There we go, or Ethos. I don't know how to pronounce it. Needless to say, they're really good. It's a really good flavor. I don't find these very often, and when I went to Concord the other day to pick up my juice, they were having a special sale at Smoker Choice, 2 for $10, and so they gave me this and a bottle of Fuggin' Vapes BJ for $10, and I was really happy, because that's 220 ml bottles. No, two individual bottles, 120 mils each. Man, I really gotta script these things out at some point. Anyway, the flavor profile, as you know, peach rings, obvious in the name. It's a candy flavor. It tastes a lot like those candy peach rings that you get at the dollar store. You'd find at convenience stores that are in those little packages, and I think they classify them as old people candy, but I think that sounds a little generationist. Or generationalist? I don't know. Generationalist? What is that, discrimination against the generations? Kind of hard. I don't know. I'm just firing off ideas here, kind of relaxing for the evening and talking about this flavor. Alright, man, I've really derailed the conversation. So, anyway, when I've gotten this flavor once before, I don't know if I've done an official review. Needless to say, really good flavor. We're gonna puff on it a couple times and give a real thorough description on the flavor. Alright, take a sip of water. Let's do this shit. Alright, so we're gonna start this at the recommended range of the coils, which is, hello iJoy. Hello iJoy. Auto watt. There we go. So it's set it to the best recommended wattage range, which is 50 watts. Let's double check that real quick. So I'm going to turn this up to 100 watts right there. Hello iJoy. Auto watt. There we go. Voice control as usual. It is a little touchy nowadays, I find. The voice control can be kind of touchy, so you have to say the command code hello iJoy different ways. You have to say it in a certain tone for it to pick it up. Like, for example, hello iJoy. It picks it up. Music lights. Lights off. Power high. Power low. There we go. So we're at 50 watts. That's the recommended wattage range for this. So we're going to start off at 50, go up to our usual, and we'll try some higher ranges, and we'll see how well the flavor holds up in those wattage ranges. So here we are at 50 watts, the optimal recommended range for this tank. I mean, these coils specifically, the fused Claptons. So we're reading at a 0.25 ohm resistance at 50 watts, 4.24 volts. Let's give this thing a handle. Whew, excuse me. Well, that chucks like a truck full of sand shoes. I don't know where that came from. I was trying to do a joke for how well it chucks clouds, but whatever. If you found it funny, you found it funny. If you didn't, well, then you're sitting here like me, like, what the heck am I doing? Alright, so we've puffed at 50. We're going to take one more puff off that, actually, at 50. That cloud's out amazing. Alright, we're going to go right to 60 watts. Don't know how well you can see that, but it's 60 watts. Nice and even. Let's see how well she does there. So we're going to go from in 10 watt increments, and we're just going to kind of go up. Definite flavor change. It looked like my hair is smoking a little bit. Anyway, so I noticed a definite flavor change between the 50 and 60. At 50, it was a very nice, cool, relaxing, flavorful vape. The flavor was rich, and I noticed the vapor production was very different between the two. 60 definitely produced higher vapor production, while 50 produced a lower vapor production, but higher flavor. So I noticed that the flavor kind of tapers off based on the heat. So... Alright, I heard some jangling around, and it's just this little panel's loose. This panel is not the firing switch. This one is the firing switch. So, simple as pie. To remember, the left of the screen is or in this case, my right, is the fire button, while this panel can just come off, and it's a metal plate. And then, so what happens is, this thing sometimes jangles around a bit because the tab got bent. So, you know. Problems for another time, Michael. Okay, so I'm going to try it one more time at 50, see if I can really tell the difference. At 50, you can take a much longer draw. It definitely tastes optimal. I can see why it says 50 watts is the best range for this coil. It's definitely where the flavor is the best for this juice. So I think that's also a key factor to it. It's probably like this juice is the best for this coil, I guess. That's just my opinion. So we're going to turn this up to 70 watts. And we're going to give this a try at 70. See what she does. See how much of the difference there is from my usual vaping range to 50. So I noticed it took way less time to get a cloud that big than it would at 50. So yes, it puts off more vapor in less time, but the flavor is different from the 50 watt. There's a very big margin of flavor change between the two flavors. So right off the bat, I'm noticing the peach is more prominent than candy when you're vaping it at 70, and I think that might be a problem. I think I might actually switch it down to 50 as a current vaping range. But anyway, so we're just going to bump it up to 110 just for the heck of it. See what it does. That was a 1.2 second vape, and I got that big of a cloud. Let's try that again. That's insane. That was a 1 second hit. Exactly 1 second. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but right there at the tire, it says 1 second, 1.0 on the dot. So that's pretty awesome. All right, so we're gonna max this thing out. Normally I don't do this, but for this tank, because it can handle it, I'm going to. So I'm gonna soak up the coil real good. This is what you do for soaking up the coil. What you do is, because the cotton feeds down into the tank, obviously. So what happens is the cotton sits right above this rim, so as the liquid gets down, because if you have cotton in here, it takes away from juice space. So what I like to do is I like to keep the cotton right about here, so when it gets lower, I just tilt it like this, spin it around, it soaks up the cotton, and then afterwards, now that you have a fully saturated wick, I can actually take a 234 watt puff, because what happens is the hotter the temperature, the faster it vaporizes. The faster it vaporizes, the quicker your cotton gets gets dry. The faster your cotton gets dry, the quicker you burn. So if you keep your cotton dry and you take a short rip, you can do it at any wattage. Let's show you how. Quick lesson for you in vaping, if you use a rebuildable tank like me. That was a 1.7 second puff, and I wasn't meaning to take that long. I was trying to keep it around 1 second, but needless to say, that I don't know how well you guys could see that, but it clouded out pretty much everything in front of me for like a good 2 seconds. So that was pretty awesome in just 1.7 seconds. That's pretty amazing. So I'm going to turn this back down to 50. In fact, I'm not even going to bother turning it down like manually. Hello, iJoy. Hello, iJoy. Auto watt. There we go. Voice command is so simple. But I do like the 50 watts, so I might keep it there for a while. Alright, so that about wraps it up for the review. That was pretty cool. Hello, iJoy. Power high. Power high. So I turned it up to 70. I'm just going to leave it there for the heck of it to finish off this video. But, anywho, and something to note, hold up, better yet, I'm going to prove to you how well it voice controls real quick. So, 134 watts, right? Now, in the time between when I give it its voice command and this video, there will be no stopping it. It'll continue straight. You'll be able to see this directly. I'm going to give it a voice command, and as you can see, right here, 134 watts. Hello, iJoy. Auto watt. There we go. Look at that. That's what I was trying to show you for those of you who didn't really believe the whole voice control thing. And flavorful vapes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I got a bottle of Fugged Vapes BJ and a bottle of Peach Rings from Ethos Vapors for $10. I'm pretty happy. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Sorry for the infrequent uploading. I'm going to do my best to get on that as soon as possible. So thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out my other videos. Be sure to like and subscribe. Drop some comments in those in the crotch box. Tell me what you liked most about the video. Question of the day should be something along the lines of, probably, drop a comment on what your first mod is and what your favorite juice is. So if you guys liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe, as I said before, and share it with your friends so they can make informed decisions on what to buy before they buy it. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until next time, as always, I'm your host, Michael Cobb, and these have been the Visual vapor reviews. Peace all. Stay lifted.